So this month's block of the month, I'm doing a squirrel, and that's going to be the pattern pieces. I've not cut out the red border yet. So here's all my pieces ready, and what I've done is I've divided them into sections, so there's ones with just one piece and pieces with two or three. This is piece A, and I've got all those pieces ready. Piece B is just a one piece, so that's going to be easy because I haven't got anything to do to that, just stitch it on when it comes to it. And I'm using this tree background for the squirrel, so all of the background pieces are going to have the tree on it. So there's my stack of pieces that I've got set up. I've put them in alphabetical order. So starting with piece A, this is the tail piece for the squirrel. I'm doing them all in a red because my daughter runs a squirrel colony, which is part of the scouting group. I've got all my pieces ready. So this will be for my daughter's scout group once it's finished. So piece 2 added to the piece, and then as you can see there it is, piece 2 which is background. Then I'm going to add piece 3, which I'm not sewing through the paper, I'm just sewing right up to close to the edge of the folded paper, because I have trouble ripping all the papers out afterwards. So there's all the pieces sewn on, 2, 3, 4. As you can see, the 4 is the tail piece, so it's just ready. That's it, trimmed. So I've trimmed it down, and I'm going to start and stack them up once I've got them all done. So that's piece A, all trimmed up, ready to go into my pile in alphabetical order. And then so there's piece B, which we've seen before, and that's just background piece. So here's the background again for that piece. Say it's just trees, and as I say, I'm stacking them all alphabetically. So piece C, again, it's just one piece of material in the background, so easy to cut, and it's quite a simple pattern this, because there's quite a lot of just one piece. I think there's only about 5 pieces out of the 26 that have had to be pieced. So there's piece D, again, it's just background. So all the background are numbered. Number 1, you can see it in a square. So that's that one. Got a bit blurry, that picture. I think my camera is ready for an upgrade on my phone. So piece F again. This was 2 pieces of paper which I had to glue together down the seam, which you can see there, and again just cut out in the background fabric. Then the next one is piece G, which again is just background again, so this is an easy piece to cut out. The crosses and the little marks that you can see on the pattern are placements where you can match up your seams, which is ideal on some tiny pieces if you're trying to match lines up. So piece K, that's got more than one colour. It's just one red colour, and then the sorry, background pieces. So that's part of my tail. Sorry. So they're ready. Then that's the first piece joined to it, and just keep working through adding the pieces in order. So piece 2, piece 3, and then piece 4 will go on the opposite side, and then that's that piece ready to be trimmed. So that's again just got 5 pieces, no, 4 pieces, 3 pieces of background and the tail piece. So that's that trimmed. Then that's, oh dear me, that's terrible. Can't even read the letter on that one. So I think it's either L or K. Again, it's just a plain piece. So my camera's not very good at the moment. There's piece M. So that must have been piece L, the one before. Which again, it's just one piece of background. So it's easy to piece together. Then piece N. Again, it's just one piece of background. So that looks like that when it's all trimmed up. Ready to go into the stack. Then I think it's pieces E, I, J and H that I haven't cut, which are the border pieces. So those pieces will be missing when I'm sewing it together, because they're just the border, red border, which I'll put on afterwards once I've decided on the size that I want this cushion to be. So just keep working your way through all the pieces, adding them as you go. You can either sew through the paper or sew next to the paper. And that piece there, it's a bit short, but I'm not worried because it's actually in the seam allowance. So I'm not going to worry too much about that piece. So just keep adding, and don't rip pieces out. If things are in your seam allowance and they're a bit short, just carry on. So there's the next piece. Again, I can't even see what piece that is because it's so blurred. My camera's terrible. But that's it, finished anyway. I have no idea what piece that was. Oh, so that was piece O, because this is piece P. Even though it's very blurred, I do know that piece is P. So you just keep adding and making up your pieces and stacking them into alphabetical order so that you can find them easier when you've got them all done. So that's piece P. Very blurred on my camera, I'm afraid. But hopefully the image of it being done like that is, you can see which one it is. So just keep going on your pieces, and so piece Q is just one piece of the squirrel, which is easy to cut out, and so that's what that piece looks like. So as I say, you just keep going with all your pieces. So I've nearly got all my pieces finished and sorted. Just doing the last few now. So I think there's 26 pieces altogether, and we didn't use 4 or 5 of them. So that's, oh dear me, can't tell what that piece is. I've no idea. But anyway, that's it when it's finished. It's part of the tail piece and the back of the bottom, so I think it's piece R. That's piece R. So this must be piece S, which is the biggest part of the body. And again, as I say, just keep adding all the pieces until you've got them all ready. So I think that was the end of that one. Oh, that's piece S. So the other one must have been I think it might have been O and R. I'm not sure. But as I say, you just keep adding your pieces, making up each part separately, and then stacking them alphabetically. So we're nearly at the end of preparing all your pieces. So that's piece X, as you can see. So not many more to go. So that's just part of the squirrel, and that's what that looks like. And once we've got all the pieces shown, we'll start to add them together. So piece Y, I think piece Y and piece R have the most pieces in them. All the rest are only like two pieces or three pieces. So, and piece Z is just a one piece again. So they'll be easy to do. So once you've got them all done, that's piece Y. We're going to trim it and then see what that piece looks like. So if you do decide to do this pattern, it is free for the month, and then it will be on sale. So as you can see, that's, I don't know what piece that is. I didn't think piece Z had two pieces, but it might have. Oh, it does, yes. Piece Z has two pieces. So we're nearly up to starting to put it together. So that's piece Z, which looks like that when it's all completed. So now we're going to start joining the pieces together. So take piece S and piece R, and where you can see there's little crosses and double dash lines and single dash lines, these are where you match up. So take a pin, poke it through the X, and it should come out on the X on the other side of your piece. You can see the pin sticking up there where it's come through, and you're going to mark all those pieces with a pin and secure it in place so that it doesn't move when you sew it. Then once it's sewn, I rip out the papers from the seam allowance because it's easier to press without them in. And then once that's out on both sides, then I can give it a good press, and that's what they look like when they're joined together. So the next piece that we're going to add is piece O onto the other side of piece S. Again, match up your little crosses and your single and double lines, and take out your seam allowance papers after you've sewn it and give it a good press, and then that's what that looks like when you've added that onto your piece. You're then going to place that on one side, and you're going to take piece X and piece T and join them together top and bottom. And you're going to take pieces Y and piece Z, join those two pieces together. Again, don't forget to take out your papers, out your seam allowance. Give them both a good press. You're going to then join them two together, X and Y, and you're going to add V to the bottom. Again, giving it a good press. Once you've taken your papers out, and then that's what that piece looks like, and that's part of the head and the paw when you start and join them together. So the next piece is you're going to add piece W onto the side of that. Again, make sure you're matching up your little X's with your pin to make sure you've got them in the right place. And then that piece will look like that. So your next one that you're going to add to it is piece P onto the bottom of those. So make sure, again, match up your little crosses and your double lines, and then that looks like that when that's joined together. Again, taking out your papers out of your seam allowance before you press it. Then you're going to add Q onto the side of that. Again, give that a good press, take your pieces out, and that will look like that. And don't forget, all your pieces are reversed when you're looking at your picture. So although when you look at it like that, you're adding piece U onto the top of Y, and it looks as though it's going to be just slightly onto the left. When you flick it over and after you've pressed it, it's obviously going to be on the right, because they're all reversed imaged. So then your next pieces are you going to add that piece that you've just sewn to the OS and R piece that you sewed before. Again, make sure you match up your points to get your pieces into the right place. And there's mine. I can see I've just missed slightly on the back. It's not quite lined up, but I'm not too worried about it. Add piece L onto the bottom of those. That's piece L added to the bottom, and he's slowly getting there. You can start to see his shape coming together. Then you're adding M onto that tiny corner there, and then once M is added, I think you add piece N. Yep, that's piece N. So you're joining both of those pieces onto the big piece that you've just joined. And once you've done that, that's that bottom corner completed. So next is we're going to add piece K down the side and join that on. Ripping out, don't forget you've got to rip out your seam allowance papers so that when you press it, it lies flat. So that's what that looks like, and that's as far as I've got so far. Next, we're going to add piece A to the top of pieces R and K, and that tends to look a bit like that if it wasn't so blurred. I'm really going to have to get another camera, I think. Next, we are adding piece F. Again, you're going to match up your pieces and your marks to make sure that it's in the right position. Sew that into place, and then once that's on, the next one you're going to add is piece B, which goes on the opposite side, and that goes there, which will show you when it's sewn on. So there's piece B sewn on, ready to add the next piece, which is piece C. which goes just above it, as you can see on the image. And then once that's sewn on, we're then going to add piece D and the last piece, which is piece G. So here it is finished, apart from the red outer border, which I will add at a later date once I decide how